Salutations, my fellow dudes and dudettes, and welcome back to Paper Mario. Last time, we reached Mount Rugged, traversed it, found a bunch of letters that a terrible mailman lost, and returned it to him and recruited him as a member of our team. So now we have Parakarry. First thing to go over, Parakarry's abilities to carry us over pits, as I mentioned last part. Keep in mind, he can only carry you for so long. I'm not that fat. Anyway, here we got the Quake Hammer badge. Slightly damages all enemies on the ground or ceiling. Make a note of ceiling because there will be enemies you will be encountering later in the game that you can't exactly jump onto. They're way too high up. Which is why something like the Quake Hammer is beneficial. Here I am backtracking because there was actually a star piece that I wanted to get with Parakarry since I'm here. Unfortunately, like a dope, I forgot something as I was leaving the mountain, and sadly, I made the same mistake during my test playthrough. As for what it is, you'll have to wait and see by the end of this chapter, because I will be getting it when I'm done with everything else. Because at this point, I might as well just keep going. Alright, but now that we got the star piece and the Quake Hammer, let's move on. Now, this little encounter right here can have one of two things can happen, and I'm going to be showing off both. Just a darn minute. I've seen you somewhere. You have? You recognize me? It's like I'm famous or something. Very similar. You look a lot like this fellow, Mario, who's on Bowser's Wanted poster. Now, Giff, what's your name? Now, if you say your name's Luigi... Luigi, pardon? You do look like this dude. Well, you're not Mario, I guess. I reckon you could pass. So apparently, if you say that you're Luigi, the bird will let you go. But if you say you're Mario or Princess Peach, well, Princess Peach especially, this happens. You take me for a fool? Princess Peach is captured up there in Bowser's castle. Disregarding the fact that I'm a dude and not a girl, instead you're going to use that factoid? Alright. Alright, so basically, if you decide to choose Luigi, you skip this mini-boss. This is Buzzer. Buzzer has an HP of 30, defense of 0, and attack of 3, I want to say. This thing's actually got a number of attacks. For starters, it's going to blow gusts of wind. You have to repeatedly press the A button to reduce the damage. Unfortunately, this also affects your partner, which puts them out of commission for a turn. And because of that, I couldn't show off Parakarry very well. Well, I did show off one of his attacks called the, I forget what it was called, actually. That's the other attack. If you, tap the A button, you can fill up a gauge. If it lands on, on the green section of the gauge, the bird will drop you and you won't take damage. But let's go over Parakarry for a second. Parakarry is able to do one of two attacks. Skydive and Shell Shot. Skydive, it goes up into the air and it kicks the enemy. Like, it sort of goes for a jumping kick, sort of. And it's also a good alternative for that Quake Hammer. In case you don't feel like using that, Parakarry can hit enemies on the ceiling, as I'll show off later in the game. The Shell Shot, however, is amazing. The Shell Shot is able to do 5 damage. Basically what you do is you hold left and you let it go when when your target cursor and the enemy's cursor line up correctly, and you can deal out a good amount of damage. Unfortunately, this early in the game requires 3 FP, and you only have 10 to work with. So that's a bit of an issue. This mini boss isn't too hard, but you do have to be aware of its attacks. And if you're as unlucky as I was with some of its attacks, such as it dropping down on you and picking up Mario and dropping him, this boss could be a bit of a challenge. Not too badly, though. Make sure you have items on standby, just in case, if you do have a bit of trouble with this thing. But speaking of which, it's down. Also, it's funny, because when Gubario does his title on this bird, he comments that, he comments that it's a dude, but also the fact that it has eggs, so maybe it's implied it's a woman. It's a female bird. So, which is it? It's like the controversy between whether Yoshi is a dude or not because it lays eggs. Alright, well, I'm going to heal, and now that we finally managed to make it across the mountain, now we can go to the dry desert. And we actually got 2 enemy encounters here, so I can actually go over them. Well, not just yet, we've got some people in this tent. Well, hello there, old boy. How goes the travels, eh? I'm known as Colorado. I'm an archaeologist, you know. I travel the world. At the moment, I'm turning dry desert upside down to find the dry ruins. My assistants have attempted to gather information at dry outpost, which is near here. Sadly, as of yet, we're having a little success. All I need is a clue and we'll be golden. Okay, now here's Parakarry's third ability. I think he's the only one that technically has 3 abilities. Like 2 outside of battle, and well, I guess it'll be 4. But anyway, those letters we've been picking up, you could deliver them to the respective people that they belong to. In case you don't remember where the letter goes, go to your key items in the in your menu, and it'll tell you where the letter is supposed to go. You have to have Parakarry in your party in order to do this, which doesn't really make any sense. Parakarry lost all these letters throughout the Mushroom Kingdom, so it's clear he's not cut off for the job, so why do we need him to be there when we deliver the letter? It's weird. So typically whenever you successfully deliver a letter to the respective person, you get a star piece. And whiffing my drink for a second. Oh, that was rude. Anyway, we got a new enemy, and I hate these enemies. These are called bandits. Bandits have an HP of 4, an attack of 2, and a defense of 0. Their gimmick is, if you don't guard against them, they'll take a coin from you. Yeah, pretty annoying. They can take your money. I mean, on one hand, it is technically only 1 coin. But you need to, but if you want the coins back, you gotta take the, I don't know, I can't think of the word. You gotta be able to respond quickly, otherwise, the next turn, they'll just run away from battle and you don't get that coin back. And I believe this game has other different, a green variant of bandits, which can take items, and that's really horrible, especially if you can't take them out in time, because then you just lost that item. I'm not sure on that, though. Hopefully, if I do run into them next part, I will, bring mention of it. But otherwise, like I said, if they stay cure coins, there's a pretty lucky badge being awesome. they take your coins, attack them, and they'll give you their coins back. Which unfortunately, Thousand Year Door seems to mess up on. Because in Thousand Year Door, when a bandit takes your coin, that's it. You ain't getting that coin back. You still defeat the enemy, and the bandits do technically drop more coins than most enemies, so I guess you are, in a way, getting the money back. But it's not like here where you attack the bandit, and the coin just gets brought back to you. Nope, in Thousand Year Door, that coin is gone. And now we've got our second enemy for the desert, Pokies. Pokies have an HP of 4, an attack of 2, and a defense of 0. Now with Pokies, they can actually do a few things. They could do this sort of attack where they go up to you and they slam their face down at you. They could take pieces of themselves and throw them at you, which is obnoxious. And my least favorite part, well, which could also be a benefit, is they could grow more Pokies out of the ground. Now, on one hand, that could increase the amount of experience you get out of the battle, but that also drags the battle out to an absurd degree. Let's make a note of that when we get to Chapter 3. Ugh. Alright, so we got this little mouse on the road. I decided to talk to him because I thought he had something important to say. Especially since the camera sort of closes in on him when you talk to him. But he unfortunately doesn't really offer any sort of, like, information that'd be useful to you. So, we're gonna disregard him. And apparently that tree holds a coin. Now we're actually going to traverse through the desert to get to a particular area to get 2 things. I believe there are star pieces and items hidden throughout the desert, so I will be doing that next part. Because I believe we only have a couple more parts before the chapter is done. First, you want to come over to this oasis and get that lemon. And here is a super block. Whenever you hit one of these, you have the option to power up one of your 4 party members, at this point in the game anyways. Basically what happens is that your partner will deal 1 damage more than what they used to. So, for instance, for Cooper, he'll deal 3 damage as opposed to 2. Plus, they will get a new move added to their arsenal of techniques. And each party member has a slew of techniques they can use. So I'm going to give this to Parakarry because we are actually going to be using Parakarry for a good chunk of this, for I believe the rest of this chapter, if not a good chunk of it anyways. Generally, you do want to focus on Bombette, but you know, it's super block, so you can only, like, train them up once. And we'll be able to get more super blocks along the way anyways. So it's not the end of the world. As for what Airlift does, I suppose I'll show it off next part. I managed to do that. Let's get out of here and start heading to our next destination. Welcome to Dry Outpost. I don't know why that shopkeeper was in a rush. That was weird. Now, I do apologize for this ahead of time. I do a lot of running around for no good reason at all. It's because I was in the middle of chatting with some friends when I was recording this. I wanted to have, at the very least, I wanted to have some company to keep me busy while I was recording this. But I let those guys distract me a little too much. So you're gonna see me doing a lot of running around. However, our first thing is to talk to this mouse over here. Now, basically, how this guy works is that if you give him items, he'll be like, "Oh, you're a nice guy" and stuff. And if you give him a decent amount of items, I want to say 3, he'll give you the chance to ask him a question. And one of those questions is favorite food. You ask him it, and he'll tell you his favorite food is lemon. I prematurely got the lemon so I could skip past all that. So what you want to do is you want to meet this guy named Mustafa. Because Mustafa will essentially guide us to the next dungeon, per se. So basically what we want to do to talk to Mustafa is to go to the shop, buy a dry shroom, and a dusty hammer. If you do it in that order, and then you'll be able to talk to Mustafa. You must not buy them in the incorrect order. And like an idiot, I sort of neglected to, I forgot to cut past something. Because you're actually going to notice I create a restore point, because I'm still sort of debating. Because I do actually sort of forget what I'm supposed to, like what order I'm supposed to buy the 2 items you told me to get. So I'm going to sort of stare at those items like an idiot, because I don't know why I immediately... well, I guess since I was talking to my friends at the same time, I wasn't completely focused on the game, so that is my fault. I do apologize for that. So what you're about to see is what I was using to... what system I was recording this off of. The Wii U! I don't think I actually have a copy of Paper Mario on my 64, and I would need an upscaler in order to record that, so I'm not going to do that to myself. And speaking of recording, the reason why I sort of fell behind on that is because I misplaced my flash drive, and you know when you misplace something and like it's gone for a few days, and then you find it in a place where you're just like, wait, I put it here? So it's not like it's not like you lost it. It's more like you just placed it somewhere else, which is I don't know. It's weird. Misplaced and lost don't really correlate with one another. Alright, but anyway, you buy the dry trim and the dusty hammer, then the dusty hammer, and then you can go meet Mustafa. Yeah, see, I'm talking to him because I already forgot what he told me to do. So basically what you do is you go over to this side of town. Oh wait, we got this guy real quick. We got our next quiz. Question: what ability does Goombario frequently use? Title: dive? I'd be damned if Goombario started diving everywhere. I mean, I guess his bonk attack can be considered a dive maneuver. Anyway, you go through that door and you're able to get onto the roof. Now, there is something I'm actually going to show off, and honestly, I didn't think I'd be... well, first, here's his letter. I didn't think I'd be able to get over here, but I guess that box behind me, was low enough for me to do it. Alright, now this little character, Merly. Merly is able to give you what we call the curse, like in the real world. I believe they call it the spell here. Basically, how it works is that you get perks, benefits, throughout the game, during battles specifically. The more money you spend on this spell, the longer it can last. It could have, I believe, up to 4. Where is it? It could have up to 4. It could do one of 4 things for you. It can increase your attack on the turn. It can increase your attack on your turn. It can increase your defense on your opponent's turn. It could increase the amount of coins you get when you're done the battle. Or in my personal favorite scenario, it can double the amount of experience you get out of that battle. And I don't know what kind of mileage I'm going to be getting out of it in this game, because I've played Thousand Year Door a lot more. So I don't know what my results are going to be when I'm using it for this game. But let me tell you, Thousand Year Door, I used that thing. I abused that I abused that spell like nothing else, and oh boy, I got some mileage out of it. I remember one of the last bosses of the game giving you 45 XP, and then the curse kicking in, and I practically got a level up with that battle alone. It was awesome. I'm glad you found me. So apparently, the nice mouse we were talking to is actually Mustafa! It's a blatant Zelda reference, cause Sheik, I'm the one you've been seeking all this time. Oh my goodness, why was I not paying... I should have been paying attention to this, what the hell? Or was I doing something else? I literally just recorded this a little while ago, and I already can't remember what the heck I was doing. I should have cut past that, I'm sorry. When I'm out and about in Dry Outpost, I use the name Sheik. Sheik is spelled wrong in the context of Nintendo, but anyways, it's always good to meet a genuinely nice guy. Seriously, why didn't I cut past all this? I meet people all the time, but you are by far the nicest guy I've met so far. Because I went out of my way to get a lemon that's just right outside of town. Your name is Mario. I heard you want to go to the Dry Ruins. I have a feeling you are on an important journey, so I will tell you the secret. Anytime now. I like his bandana. It's like he's Leonardo in mouse form. Dry Ruins is a very important place. My ancestors have watched over it for many generations. If I do not keep evil folk out of the ruins, who will? Can't you just hire some sort of security guard for it? The princess at the castle is told they don't do a particularly good job at guarding, but something. I'll give you this. The Pulse Stone. This Pulse Stone is the key to finding Dry Ruins. Take it to the desert, yes? The Pulse Stone will flash above your head as you get close to the ruins. The closer you get to the ruins, the faster the Pulse Stone will flash. Follow where it leads you. What the heck, me? Why did I... Oh man, this bothers me. I gotta make sure this doesn't happen in the next recording. Find the place where the... Whatever. The last line was to tell you to find where to actually place the Pulse Stone. Because there is a little pedestal that you can put it in. Anyway, now that we finally managed to do all that, this part was cut pretty meaty. So I believe that next time on Paper Mario, we're going to be going back through the desert, finding some optional trinkets, and finding the ruins. So until then, I got a juice.